are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Hey there, crew. Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, March 25th. You're watching Peaks2Plains Weather, and I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Meister. If you're watching on social media, please do me a favor and share this post really quick. That kind of gets it into the algorithm and gets more people kind of aware and seeing it and that sort of thing. Thanks for joining me this morning. It was a warm day yesterday, wasn't it? We set some records. We'll talk about that in a second. If you'd like to join the show today, you are always welcome via social media comments, and I can share those here, comments, questions, whatever you might have. You can also join me live using the links that we have here. And already, Jeff is saying, LFG! I know what that means. If you don't, well, then you're not supposed to know what it means. Thanks for making me laugh. Jeff, that's funny. I like that. All right, here we go. Let's talk about what happened yesterday across the area. 76 in the Springs took out the old record, 86 in Pueblo. We hit 90 in Canyon City, and we are actually going to be a little bit warmer here today. I think we might take some records out on Thursday as well. Depends on the timing of the cold front, but that's starting to look late enough that, yeah, we're probably going to have some records go down for probably the third day in a row. And, today we might actually reset the all-time March record in Colorado Springs that we did on Saturday. Here's a look at Monarch Mountain this morning. And crew, that is not good if you want to be skiing. Here's the deal on the snowpack. We are 46% of median. That was actually 2 days ago when I wrote this up here. But see, this season, the snowpack liquid water equivalent in black there's been below the historical low. And look at that gap that we have there. So that makes sense why Monarch looks like this and that map looks like that. We're 25% of average in some of the southern basins now. It is not good news. And we're starting off warmer this morning than we were yesterday. So, just kind of that warm, not great snow season continuing. We're 21 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday in Colorado Springs, sitting at 67. Hey-oh. I'm not going to say it, but 64 in Walsenburg this morning. Big Mountain Valleys are chilly. They are around freezing this morning. Lyman's dropped into the 30s as well. Typical Colorado fashion, kind of just depends where you are. Let's start talking about the 24 fire here. It's 58 on post at Fort Carson. Humidity's at 32%. We don't have a lot of wind. Penrose, the wind's only running 3 miles per hour. You can see we don't see any smoke there. What's interesting this morning on the 24 fire, in looking at it there are some satellite hotspots that are being picked up this morning here on the southern part of the fire. You see some of those in red. It is running a little bit hotter than it was 24 hours ago. The size was adjusted a little bit, down a couple dozen acres, down to 7,385. It's because they're getting a better handle on the actual, mapping of this thing. And it is 30% contained now. That is good news. Let's talk fire weather here the next couple of days, because early this morning in the next couple of hours, there might be a few gusts up around 10 miles per hour. You can see the wind's pretty light, though. Out of the northwest, kind of the typical diurnal pattern here, there is some gap flow wind just to the south on the Arkansas River. That'll be a little bit more noticeable in the afternoon. And there will be some maybe wind shifts in the fire today. This is not a significant fire weather day. We're kind of on the border of some of the thresholds that my friends at the Weather Service kind of look for. One of which is, does it have the potential to be 25 mile per hour greater wind or gusts for 3 or more hours. And we might get that in a couple areas this afternoon. With the increase in temps today, we certainly will get below 15% humidity. There's no doubt about that. So the areas most likely to meet the criteria today, and of course we do have critical fuels, San Luis Valley and Fremont County, the eastern part of the county included. Does the fire know if there's a red flag warning or not? No. Point being is that this is sort of a kind of low-end threshold day today for fire weather. So that's what I want you to be aware of about that. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the short-term forecast here, and then we'll do a quick break because there is something good in our community that I want to celebrate. Want to make sure I do that here. So let me bring you back to me really quick. Say hello to some of you. Jeff says, oh, he wanted to clarify. Let's freaking go. Is it though? That's not what I've heard, Jeff, but I'll believe you, I guess, and go with that, right? Let's freaking go. I love that you educate us and give us so much detail. Great job. Thanks, Erica. I appreciate that. And she also says, good morning. And Raul is watching, and he's saying something about Costa Rica in Spanish. And muy poquito, I can speak, but I can't translate it that fast. So I'll have to leave that and work on that after the fact. Raul, I hope it is appropriate. Something in there makes me think it might not be. Okay, let's head over to the weather wall here and check out our forecast. And here's what we've got going on for the next couple of days. You can see we had some high clouds that came in overnight. Off to our northwest, you can see that there is some shower activity. That's where the upper level system is that's going to drive a cold front in late Thursday and really impact us from a temperature perspective into Friday. A little jet streak with that. When we get that east of the Rockies, that's what starts driving the front into our area. So we're still impacted by this high pressure. We're kind of on the northern fringes of it today. Some westerly flow. We're bringing in some warmer air from the west. Most of us are going to be warmer than what we had yesterday by at least a few degrees. And again, we do have those fire weather concerns for Fremont County and for the San Luis Valley. It's in effect today from noon until 7 o'clock, so just something to be aware of. And again, we're kind of on the border threshold of the wind in particular. There are some breezy spots out here across the plains this morning. Notice that the best potential for a few gusts this morning will be in the wind gap areas, the low spots of the Rocky Mountains. It's easier for the air to get through there, so kind of coming out of Bighorn Canyon and then downstream of La Veta Pass. But for a lot of us today, it's going to be a really, really nice day to be outside. And I have to juxtapose that with the fire weather concerns, right? I mean, it's not an extreme wind day. We're going to set records. It's going to be nice to be outside as long as you don't mind the heat, no doubt about that. We head into the evening here. I do think we'll keep some breezes around as we get that system up across the Pacific Northwest to start to move our way. Because we'll be warmer today, the humidity levels will be lower than yesterday. We'll be below 15%. Really, really easy. If we can get to 87 in Colorado Springs, we'll reset the all-time March record high that we set on Saturday, get back into the 90s along the river, out across the plains, get some 80s to show up over some of the mountain valleys. So again, this stretch of warm weather that we had late last week took a short little break with the cold front for Sunday and then on Monday, but we're back up to the warmth today. Banjo is excited about that. Easy to understand, 0 to 10 scale of if it's going to be nice or not. He's looking for a long walk today. He's going with an 8. Overnight tonight, very mild again, ahead of what will be a quick warm-up coming on Thursday ahead of the cold front. So you can see Denver may not hit 80. Couple different computer models are slowing down the arrival of the front by about 90 minutes to 2 hours tomorrow. And so I've bumped up the temperatures here just a little bit, especially across the Palmer Divide in northeastern Colorado. Not too different across the mountains and valleys tomorrow from what we'll have out there today. But here's the deal. Tomorrow will be a windier day, faster and longer. Ahead of that cold front, it's out of the west. Humidity's still low. We're setting records again. Bigger fire weather day tomorrow than today. And because of that, we've got fire weather watches that should be upgraded to red flag warnings ahead of the cold front. Now, when the cold front gets to your house, regardless of when that is, you'll know. And I'm talking more east of the mountains here than up across the mountains because we'll keep a westerly wind. But you can see the front coming in. Wind will switch around out of the north-northeast when it arrives, and it'll pick up. And late in the day tomorrow, into tomorrow evening, temperatures coming down, wind is getting gustier, and there's probably going to be some blowing dust in some spots, I would think, out across the eastern plains. It's something to be aware of. Not nice. But a huge temperature change east of the mountains in particular on the way for Friday. We may not hit 50 in a couple spots. Those that do will still be about, we were in the 90s, so that's a big swap of about 35 to 40 degrees. We'll come down over the mountain areas as well. Western slope stays kind of unchanged. So that's the big change here into the weekend. We'll get a couple of Mornings in the 30s as well. We'll talk more about the extended forecast here coming up right after this.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee.
Here's to 150 years of the state we call home.
At Phil Long Ford Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years. Basically, we're the top dogs of Colorado. And thanks to our deals, selection, and service, we've earned some pretty loyal customers. And our GM Mark, he's the most loyal guy I know. Even after I chewed up his shoe, it was delicious.
Great trucks, amazing deals, and belly rubs for dogs. Come see why Colorado drives Phil Long Ford Motor City. Hey guys, where's my shoe?
Been part of Broncos country. Every season, we feel the energy, passion, and commitment that defines this team. And now, we are honored to be the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
All right, we are celebrating good things in our community and an upcoming conference that you might be interested in. Joining me now is Bowen Gillings from the Pikes Peak Writers Conference. Thanks for being here with us on Peaks2Plains Weather.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Bowen, tell me a little bit about the Pikes Peak Writers and the upcoming conference.
Well, the Pikes Peak Writers is an entirely volunteer-run 501c3 nonprofit that's got the mission of educating and promoting and mentoring area writers. That's what we do and have been doing it since 1993 when the first conference was held. And a conference has gone on every year since then, except for 2020 when we had to close down for COVID.
Sure, of course.
But the conference itself, what we're doing is providing workshops on everything from the business of writing to publicity to the craft, all different facets of writing, as well as opportunities to connect with some high-level writers, some New York Times bestsellers who are our keynotes, agents, editors, publishers. All that's going to be there available to the attendees.
Is it more focused on fiction or nonfiction or both?
We primarily focus on fiction, though we do see a lot of biography or memoir writers who attend this conference. But if you are a fiction writer, whether it's short stories, novellas, novels of any genre, that is exactly who we are primarily set up for and where our strength lies. Though you'll get a lot of help too if you're somebody looking to work on like a memoir or a family history or something like that, because we have people with that kind of expertise as well. Not a great venue if what you're trying to do is get your first cookbook out there in the world. That's not where our strength lies.
Okay, got it. And how many days is the conference? Where is it at and when is it?
So it runs for 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, April 17th, 18th, 19th at the Doubletree by Hilton down there off Lake Avenue on East Cheyenne Mountain Boulevard. And we have the whole conference space kind of occupied. The whole event runs, like I said, all those days. Meals are part of the conference, as meals provide a great opportunity for networking, and we also, our keynotes get a chance to talk to you and tell their stories and give you their advice on how to take your career forward.
Awesome. Anything else that we need to know, or how can we find more information about the conference and how to sign up?
Sure. You can go to, or anybody who's interested, go to conference.pikespeakwriters.org, and there you'll see information about the conference, the keynotes and their biographies, agents, editors, publishers that are coming that might interest you, some of the workshops. You can go there. It'll also have links for registering there. Registration is currently open. Registration does close the 10th of April. Okay. And if those people who are hearing this are just curious about it, they've never heard of Pikes Peak Riders or not familiar with the organization, we do offer an incentive. If you register and come to the conference, there's a code you can use. It's Bring a Friend 50 to get $50 off your registration cost, kind of take that cost down a little bit so that you can attend and join in. And that's all shown on the website as well. Or if anybody has more questions about it, they can feel free. They can email me directly at mc@pikespeakriders.com. That's EMCEE, the position, at pikespeakriders.com. And I gladly answer any questions they have.
Well, it's kind of cool, somebody figuring out their next thing, what they're going to do. It's a kind of a one-stop shop to learn it all. So that is very cool. Thanks for making some time today, Bowen. We appreciate it. The upcoming Pikes Peak Riders Conference in Colorado Springs. And thanks for being here with us on Peaks2Plains Weather.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope to see you all at the conference.
All righty. It was great to talk to him about that. And, one of the things I want to do is celebrate our community in Southern Colorado and the things that make us amazing. And that's one of those things. And I celebrate other nonprofits and support them as well. So we'll have different groups on from time to time. We'll do things other than weather. Let's focus on the weather, though. And I kind of highlighted Monarch earlier. You can see the snowmelt underway at Crested Butte in a big way. They'll keep that going today as they'll get to around 60 later on today. Have a lot of sunshine out there. Breckenridge, cameras kind of zoomed in this morning. They're doing what they can to keep the slopes skiable and rideable for as long as possible. Here are the updated snowpack numbers across the state. And look at the southern basins. Less than a quarter of average. That's not good news. And we're only about half of average up across the northern part of the state. Statewide, we are at 38% of the median snowpack. It really is not good news. So are we going to get any moisture? Well, that cold front that comes in Thursday, late afternoon and evening, that's not going to do it. Don't get excited about what you're seeing here on Stormcast. There might be some virga out there, but I just don't think anything of note is on the way here. For most areas, nothing at all with that. But that big temperature drop going to come for sure. Let's start talking about what happens as we head into next week. So I've got the energy in the atmosphere on here. I've got the flow lines. Those are the black lines that you see. They kind of help you trace out the kinks. And you can see a couple of those juxtaposed with the energy out over the Pacific Ocean. And there's something pretty significant out there as we hit the back part of the weekend. Out ahead of that, in the southwest flow, we'll start to draw in some subtropical moisture. So by probably maybe late Sunday, more so into Monday, I think we'll see some scattered showers over the mountains. Because of where that's coming from, snow levels will be really high. So a lot of that will be rain and maybe even a thunderstorm. We'll see. Eastern Plains, we're probably staying dry. Then we watch the main wave set to come in here as we head into the last couple days of March and certainly the first couple of days of April. The first wave set to come in kind of as we switch the calendar is starting to look like it's not going to have as much of a kink in it. That kind of makes sense with what we've had this winter. That one will bring snow and some rain to the mountains. Snow level, again, pretty high with that one. But see the second one? Off to the west, that's going to get here 5, 6, 7 days later, something like that. And that one at least has pieces with it where we'll watch the evolution of that. Those are the kind of things that tend to at least have the potential to turn into some decent late season type snowstorms if a couple things work out right with them, if it can grab some cold air from Canada and that sort of thing. So right now, in advance of that one getting here, it's looking less exciting for significant moisture over the plains, but we'll get some for the mountains. And I think at this point, even if for a lot of areas it's rain, we'll take it. We need water in any way. Tops of the ski resorts might get some snow. We'll keep an eye on that. The cold front, though, that comes in late Thursday brings that big change for Friday, like I said. I think some of us are dropping 35 degrees or so between Thursday and Friday. So this system is stronger than the one that came in over the weekend. It's got stronger wind ahead of and behind it compared to the one that came in over the weekend. If we're going to get a sprinkle, it would not be all that exciting. The computer model, I didn't overwrite it this morning, and that was a mistake because I don't think we're going to have any significant showers. We might see something pop up in the afternoon behind it if we can get enough upslope going up against the hills and there's enough mid-level instability. Heavy, No. Over the weekend, we warm back up. Then we get the pattern changes on the way into the early part of next week. And again, you can see that the temperature's not showing all that cold with that. But maybe that second one in the 6th, 7th, 8th time frame, somewhere in there, will be something worth watching. But you'll get a shock to the system on Friday for sure with how cool that is going to be. Let's see. Jeff's talking about, have I ever heard about Shield 616? Absolutely. He or maybe the founder would like to come on and talk about that. I'd love to have you. Teresa says, good morning from Weston. Teresa, good morning. Thanks for tuning in every day. And Ann's checking in as well, says, enjoying my coffee from American Classic Coffee. They are the official coffee provider of Peaks2Plains Weather. I've got mine in here today. Started off with a latte. Now I'll do a couple of just straight up black cups. And I was out late last week and was with Spencer, and he was telling me about his roasting, and I'm going to share some of that video with you. And really, American Classic Coffee, if you like smooth coffee, that's what it is. It is really, really good. Kathy says, love your information. Well, I didn't mean to pull that up. I'm not going to hammer on other folks. And yeah, so that's it early this morning. So crew, that is it for me. 6:53. We're coming up on 7 o'clock. If you haven't downloaded the Peaks2Plains Weather app, please do so. That is how I can keep track of you, let you know about things, give you a, kind of a shoulder tap digitally when things are coming your way. And then on Peaks2PlainsWeather.com, I want to show you that this morning because I've been working hard on this weather control center that I've got set up here. And you can see about the Fire Weather Watch on there. You can also get my latest videos on there. And you can run this little sort of weather control center yourself. You can turn on different layers down here when we get some thunderstorms. You can do storm tracks. You can do lightning down there, wildfire detections. You can do all of that stuff yourself whenever you want it. Road conditions, wind, temperature, it's all on there. You can even save the maps for when you come back the next time. You can get my forecast on there. You can use the search tab there and put in your location. It'll save that as well. All kinds of good stuff down there. Of course, the 24-hour channel is available on there. All kinds of good stuff. Lots of things on the weather blog about the 24 fire. So if you haven't checked out the Peaks2Plains weather platforms, of course, there's different things happening in different places because that's kind of how the internet works, right? That would be a good thing for you to do if you haven't done that. And please tell your friends about Peaks2Plains Weather. I would appreciate it. That's it for me this morning, 6:55, 5 minutes ahead of 7 o'clock. I've got you covered 24 hours a day in the Peaks2Plains Weather channel, 24 hours a day. You can check that on there, current conditions, cameras, my forecast, everything you need to know whenever you want it. That's what Peaks2Plains Weather is all about. Have a good day.